Why does a dismissive avoidant dismiss us? Well, it's because they prefer to dismiss everything, including their own emotion. They're trying to avoid the truth of that emotion. It's too overwhelming for them. Things like sadness, fear, hurt, grief, shame, and guilt. Inherent to the avoidant, whether it's dismissive or fearful, this is the same thing. They don't want to feel those emotions. It's too much. The difference between a dismissive and a fearful, however, a fearful has both a dismissive shame wound and an anxious self-abandonment wound, where they've learned that they can only rely on themselves, but at the same time in another relationship they've had to force themselves into a relationship where they've had to give to get. So those two things are at odds with at each other. When they're faced with these real emotions, sadness, fear, hurt, grief, shame, and guilt, then they're going to make it someone else's responsibility. They outsource. You're going to have to deal with that. I don't know how to. Whereas a pure dismissive feels all those emotions and internalizes them. I am responsible for my fear, my hurt, my shame, my guilt, but I don't know what to do with it, and I don't want to impose it on you. So that pulling away and that feeling that they're feeling isn't dismissing you. It's dismissing themselves. We end up bearing the brunt of that, but they're oblivious to it because when they're children, they haven't created the ability to accommodate another person's needs. It was unnecessary for them. No one showed up for them, so they didn't develop the skill socially. What does this person need? Okay, I need to be aware of this person's emotions. No, none of that applied for them as a child because their carers were just so toxic. The only thing they had to be concerned about was themselves. So when the time comes for them to enter a relationship and their partner has needs, well, that's massively overwhelming. They've never had to deal with that before. That's a muscle they have not developed. So they're feeling their emotions. Your emotions are projected towards them. They're taking responsibility for all of it, internalizing it, becoming overwhelmed, and pulling away. I hope that makes some sense to you. Now, if you're with a DA, and when they pull away from you, it feels like punishment, a fearful avoidant will use space to punish you, but a dismissive won't. They only are withdrawing to provide themselves with enough space to deal with these unprocessable emotions. They never learned how to process emotions as a child. They never learned how to deal with someone else's. These things can be learned. The communication between various parts of the brain can be established later in life as it was when they were a child, but it's harder and it takes a long time. To be a partner of a DA first requires the understanding of why they do what they do, and it's not to hurt you. To have the patience to allow them to grow at the pace that they're capable of growing, which is slow. Make the decision. Is this okay for me? Am I seeing the needle move? Are things improving? Remember that we're looking for improvement, not perfection. And if you are seeing that improvement, if you're seeing the other qualities of this person as worthwhile for maintaining the relationship, then be ready to invest time to understand them, to have that level of patience, and allow them to grow at their own pace. And unless you do, the relationship won't succeed. What they provide for us as anxiouses is a unique opportunity for those of us who have a self-abandonment wound to then attend to ourselves. The self-abandonment wound that we acquired as a child, I need to get some kind of level of acknowledgement from my carer, otherwise I can't survive. Okay, that's a pattern. It repeats on us as an adult, but we've become the carer that we need for ourselves, but we haven't learned how. You see, our wound is no less toxic to the dismissives. It's just different. So we can be very critical of a DA, but the reality is that we are outsourcing responsibility of emotions that we ought to be able to take care of ourselves. So the DA gives us an opportunity to be introspective and learn how to do that for ourselves. Now we give them the opportunity through the structure and safety of the relationship, through understanding and patience, to begin to learn how to engage in a healthy way in a functional growth mindset relationship.